Syphon Filter is a response to 1998's monumentally successful Metal Gear Solid. The original Metal Gear Solid was, and still is, highly regarded for its perfect mix between story and stealth espionage action. Syphon Filter tried to grasp that same feel, and it doesn't even try to hide it. There is a fight very similar to that of the Hind battle, not to mention that the main protagonist, Gabe Logan, somewhat resembles Solid Snake himself. Add that with an abundance of cinematics and horribly aged animations, and you've got the appearance of a direct Metal Gear Solid clone. Is that all what Syphon Filter is, though? Absolutely not. It's entertaining on its own merit on different terms, but that doesn't automatically clear it of its aged level design and occasional frustrating moments. In Syphon Filter, you take on the role of Gabe Logan, a special operations field agent investigating a series of biological outbreaks triggered by international terrorist Eric Romer with his partner, Leanne. However, when fellow agent Ellis loses contact during a mission in Costa Rica, the top-secret agency dispatches Gabe and Leanne to find him. Yet, they discover Ellis is dead, and Romer's suspected drug operation is a cover for the viral operation. Another outbreak in Nepal leads to even more questions when an infected person who should have died did not. While portions of Syphon Filter are indeed front-loaded with these story portions, the story isn't as focused or fleshed out as its competitor. That's not to say the story is bad, just merely competent, and nothing much more than that. Every plot twist and revelation along the way you're more than likely to guess ahead of time, but it's definitely a fun ride. It very much reminded me of those Pierce Brosnan and James Bond films. However, action is the area of expertise Syphon Filter excels in. While the game is built up to be a stealth hybrid, again, similar to Metal Gear Solid, make no mistake about it, this is a third-person shooter. Shooting is performed with the square button, as we may have all forgotten, the standard back then, while R1 is used to lock on. Initially, movement may seem unintuitive, as the D-pad to move in early 3D game design isn't really ideal. This is adhered to with the R2 and L2 buttons, allowing for more freedom of side-to-side movement, with the only cost being a rather entertaining animation. All in all, this core gameplay is very entertaining. However, at about the halfway point, frustration begins to kick in. The lock-on system becomes practically useless in the second half of the game, as nearly every enemy has a flak jacket, requiring you to master the art of the headshot, unless you want to dig deep into those ammunition amounts. Managing the first-person PS1 reticle was difficult enough, but lining up your shots in the heat of the moment, only to be a pixel off, then to die from said situation, is absolutely frustrating. Many of these occurrences suffer as much as they do from simple old game design attributes. For instance, the absolute worst mission in the game pits you against several agents in a pitch-black cave. This particular mission was incredibly annoying, as not only could you instantly be shot by any guy around that corner you couldn't see, but you could just as easily die from a ledge you didn't know was there. In a modern engine, these issues simply wouldn't occur. But still, bear with me here. While much of this might come off as negative, I enjoyed nearly every other mission available in this game, particularly in the opening half. Syphon Filter is a pretty difficult game, but I had fun with it almost the whole way through. Technically, Syphon Filter has obviously not aged well. I mean, how many games from this era have? No memorable music tracks are featured, graphics are muddy and too dark. On the surface, the voice acting is above average for the generation, but there was always one thing I couldn't get past. The speed. It seems to be perfectly fine if they just didn't say everything so damn fast.
I'm setting a beacon. Wait. Leon, this one's different from the others. It has a shorter timer, and it looks...
Hey, that's not viral. It's
too late!
Time has seemed to have forgotten all about Syphon Filter, for reasons I am truly unable to see. While some aspects of this review may have come across as leaning more negative than positive, I absolutely enjoyed my time with Syphon Filter. The entire game has certainly held up better than a majority of the titles from the PS1 and N64 era have, but we have yet to see a title released in this series for nearly a decade. Sure, the model third-person shooter has changed dramatically, but a brand new entry would be welcomed. I know that I, for one, will now be on the lookout for its sequels in time to come.